When we think of obstruction, we normally think something solid, like a brick wall. The inferior mirage is actually an invisible wall that does obstruct objects over bodies of water. You're looking here at the Fremantle cranes. Just the legs of the cranes rise to 40 meters. You can actually see some of the body of the cranes also in the mirroring. That means at least 40 meters of the crane legs are being mirrored by the inferior mirage. Just stop and contemplate that. Over 40 meters of obstruction caused by the inferior mirage. Shout out to fellow Aussie researcher Kevo, who claims to be objective and who is sticking to his claim that the inferior mirage cannot cause very much obstruction. Well, Kevo, this footage proves that over 40 meters of objects can be obstructed by the inferior mirage. You know what? This footage speaks for itself. If you want to deny observations, then you deny the scientific method. As incredible as it seems, a whole chunk of Fremantle is being obstructed by the inferior mirage. I get it, it's hard to understand, but what you have to remind yourself is that from our perspective, the water is rising up towards our eye level. We don't view the water as flat like in a side view. The water rises up on an angle from our point of view. This is what's causing the dramatic obstruction of the inferior mirage. Believe it or not, this is a ship heading out to sea from Frio. Again, a serious amount of obstruction is caused by the inferior mirage. Now at this stage, think about perspective. The further away an object gets, the smaller it gets, and therefore the more of it that can be obstructed by the inferior mirage. Those Frio cranes get smaller and smaller the further away they are. The further away they are, the more that can be obstructed by the inferior mirage. Don't forget that, it's very important. Alright, let's bring it back to the brick wall comparison. That inferior mirage you see is no different to a brick wall obstructing your view. What you have to get your head around is that the inferior mirage is really an invisible brick wall. Now what causes this inferior mirage? You know what? Who cares? Who really cares? The footage is there for all to see. But seriously, the cause, well, Wide Awake Channel and I agree that the water itself acts like a mirror when the viewing angle is just right. But I actually don't give a shit. The inferior mirage is a thing, and it can cause crazy amounts of obstruction. That's all you need to know. If you disagree, then you are denying the scientific method. I want to finish with a still from Right Side Up channel run by Kevo. Please go and support his channel because he's one of the few Globers out there doing his own observations. Unfortunately, his interpretation of his results is way off mark, but at least he's out there with his camera. So looking at this still from one of Kevo's videos, I want to get a comment from everyone. In the comment section, I'd like you to say inferior mirage or bendy water as the explanation of the man appearing to be cut off. Hopefully, if you've paid attention to this video, you'll come to the correct conclusion. And before we go, a sneak peek at my Holy Grail video, where I finally filmed the North Mole Lighthouse from Hillary's at 4 meters elevation. That video's next, and sorry to disappoint you Globers, but I've got the footage finally.